Good morning, everybody. This is Eureka John with Eureka Street Crypto Hub, broadcasting live from Leander, Texas. It is Sunday, August 8th, 8/8/2021. It is 7:42 in the morning. I was up at the butt crack of dawn this morning, and I ended up going down a rabbit hole reading about Rollups and SNARKS versus STARKS and Starkware and all this stuff. And then I ended up getting on Gods Unchained and downloading that and started playing that and trying to assess the performance, because I know Immutable X is based on Gods Unchained. Gods Unchained is using Immutable X, which uses Starkware. And yeah, I mean, it gets pretty deep from there, but yeah, I had to stop at some point. I'm not really much of a gamer. Yeah, I play games sometimes to test performance and just to kind of learn concepts, but that's really about it. I kind of feel like I waste my time a little bit playing games. A game to me is learning concepts. So that's kind of my approach to it. But hey, man, teach their own, you know, like some people are really good at games, and Theta TV, I notice this Theta TV and D Live and some of these other platforms, they're all about gamers watching other gamers play games. And for those of you who love watching other gamers play games, and esports and stuff like that, more power to you, man. I guess I missed that generational boat. So I don't get it, man. I mean, I don't know. I like action games too. Like, I don't know if you remember way back from Ivan Stewart's off-road racing and stuff like that. I mean, I like that type of game, and everybody has different ways. And playing little card games, kind of like Magic and stuff like that. It's not really my pace, but I can see why people would like Gods Unchained and stuff like that. And it was interesting to see the NFTs in action. And yesterday I had on Crypto Fu, and he explained Avagachi and that whole concept and the idea of getting an NFT pack and then getting to choose one of those 10 and then being able to build onto those and creating value and constantly maintaining your NFT in order to maintain its value is a really interesting concept. And the idea and the marriage of DeFi and NFTs and DeFi and games as well. Decentralized finance. When I was younger, anything finance, even up till I learned about crypto, finance was just so boring. I hated it. I hated money. It's just, I don't know. I just thought money was the root of all evil, and actually money can be fun. So, and Avagachi proves it. But I was already finding fun in money through a lot of these DeFi protocols too, and learning the ins and outs and the concepts and how they work, and and then the idea of financial power being given back to the people, which is an amazing thing that is happening with DeFi, being able to circumvent the banks and the credit systems that are falsified, ancient, and corrupt, and controlling over your lives. So this is decentralized finance is an amazing way and opportunity for the average person like you and me to not have to be an accredited investor and get around the financial system. Okay, anyway, that being said, this is my video blog. I do this every single morning, early in the morning, at some point between 5 and 8, I guess, or 7 for the most parts. And then I just talk about something new that I've learned in crypto. So it's not always perfect. It's not always right or correct. And a lot of times I have to go back and correct myself, or I don't. Either way, I'm not sponsored by anybody, and I'm not shilling anything, and I'm not trying to teach you, and I'm not trying to give you financial advice. I'm just talking about some things that I'm learning and in the process of learning, and you're in the process of learning this stuff with me. And if you already know better, let me know. Like, I can take criticism. I don't care. My philosophy is just throw a bunch of crap against the wall and see what sticks, and that's kind of how I've been doing this. I started off with an extremely rough podcast, and it's still rough in a lot of ways. And I just kind of threw it out there and say, here I am, man. Let's just figure this out as we go along. And a lot of people are not comfortable operating that way, and understandably so. They need to have a polished product before they publish it, but not me. I ain't got no shame. Anyway, yeah, so that's what it's about. Hey, what's up, Isorina? Nice to see you. It's been a minute, I think. Yeah. But hey, welcome back. We got level 3 theta status. Yeah, I broadcast this live on Theta TV. Then I upload it on YouTube and Odyssey and BitChute later. And I've been doing more and more interviews lately, which is really fun. It adds a little bit of variety to the show. So it's a variety show, crypto variety show. And cover different concepts and stuff like that. And I try to cover a lot of different concepts in crypto, even the stuff I don't really love, like the banking tokens and stuff like that. Whatever. What's up, Randy? Welcome back. Okay, so let's go to CoinGecko and let's take a quick little gander at what's going on over here. Let me refresh this page. If you've been following the crypto market, you know that the crypto market is doing very, very well right now. You have Bitcoin sitting just under 45,000 at $44,833.92. Ethereum, $3,129. So it broke the $3,000 mark again. It's up 23.1% in the past 7 days. We just had Ethereum 1559 roll out last week. Ethereum is starting to be burned, creating the downward pressure and that deflationary mechanism that's being built in to burn the base fees. So those critics who said that Ethereum has the unlimited supply, there's no way it will ever be sound money. Well, look, the ultra sound money meme is now proving to be true. So it's all working out, and we'll see if there is indeed these equivalent of 3 Bitcoin halvings going on in Ethereum. So I'm pretty excited for Ethereum and all Ethereum products. I'm excited for all layer 2 solutions right now. If you don't know, Ethereum is a layer 1 blockchain. It is the base layer. Well, it obviously has its issues with gas and traffic and speed and scalability and all that stuff. So people have built layer 2 blockchains on top of it in order to be able to interact quickly. And I mentioned earlier this game Gods Unchained that I was playing, which is an NFT card game online. In order to be able to transact at real time and real speed, game speed that people want to do, it would be on layer 1 Ethereum, it would be expensive and it would be slow. And the game wouldn't be viable. And when it first came out, it's an interesting concept, amazing concept, but the game wasn't all that. Now, with Immutable X, which I'll go into here in a second, they're using Rollups, a layer 2 solution. So all those transactions are being done on the layer 2 solution, and then they'll be settled on layer 1. Yeah, it's kind of like, and I've used this analogy before. If you're a waiter and you're waiting tables at a restaurant, and you're the manager of that restaurant, well, you collect and settle all the bills with the customers all day long, and collect your tips and everything like that. And then at the end of the day, you take that little zip pouch and you put all your transactions and receipts together and all the money and that stuff, and you take it to the bank, and you deposit that in the bank at the end of the day. That bank is that layer 1 transaction. From all during the day, you rolled them up. So it's like a roll up or a side chain or whatever, going on during the day while you were taking care of those customers through lunch and dinner, or breakfast if you work at a diner. I used to wait tables, and breakfast sucked because you'd have to try to carry around that hot coffee. And for dinner, if you're trying to serve martinis, that sucks too. If your waiter spills those martinis, don't sit there and jump down their throat. Martinis are hard to carry. So anyway, all right. So Binance Coin at 353.47, Cardano $1.48, XRP 80 cents, the Doge at 26 cents. That's actually up 18.2% in the past 24 hours. Is Doge making a comeback? I hope not, but that's just my personal opinion, man. Polkadot $20.62. Uniswap is at 27.97. Up 27.7%. I guess they like the sevens. Binance, it's a stable coin. Okay, so now there's 2 stablecoins in the top 10 with Binance USD in the top 11. Chainlink 2452. It blows my mind that Chainlink is still only 2452 after going to an all-time high of like $52 not that long ago, a few months ago. But Chainlink's weird like that, you know. It doesn't really go with what the market is doing, and then it'll suddenly spike up and then come back down about halfway, and then it'll do that, and it's weird. But Chainlink is not really a blockchain. Chainlink is an oracle, so it behaves in a different way. Doesn't quite follow the market. So anyway, that's all you need to know for that right now. Bitcoin Cash 576.83, Solana 38.47, Litecoin 154.94. ICP Clown Token 58.63, Ethereum Classic $60.82, Polygon $1.15. It's kind of blowing my mind that Polygon's still only just a little above $1 as well, but we'll see what happens. Stellar 30 cents, Theta Network $6.94. There's been a lot of innovation going on Theta Network, and it is now available in the MetaMask wallet if you connect the RPC, so that's a huge deal. So I think Theta did get quite pumped up to $20 for a little while there, but it dropped back down to a little more reasonable price. And then as things develop, I see Theta is going to be doing very well. That's why I am long on Theta, and I have quite a bit of Theta tokens, and I continue to dollar cost average into everything Theta, and I broadcast on Theta. So yeah, I'm a big Theta fan. What can I say? Not a Theta maxi, but I'm a Theta fan. Because I believe in Web 3.0. Not in just the day-to-day trading. I don't trade. So Aave 378.57. Let's see what else we have here. The graph at 72 cents. Oh man, I need to jump into the graph. I'm trying to find. I'm waiting till next paycheck. So I hope it doesn't go up too much between now and then. Or maybe it'll drop down. Hopefully it does. Maker 33.65.30. Celsius Network 650. Celsius has been doing some stuff with Chainlink lately, and the CCIP, that Overledger protocol type, not Overledger, that's Quant, but you know, that multi-blockchain protocol. So we'll see what's up with that. Axie Infinity 44.61. I wanted to Hedera Hashgraph 22 cents. Quant down to 153.21. Now there's been some speculation and criticism that the new Chainlink cross-chain interoperability protocol, CCIP, is in competition with the Quant Overledger network. I don't think so. I don't think it's in competition. I think a lot of people have been selling some Quant in favor of Chainlink lately because they think that they are competing. I don't think that they're competing. Quant is more structured toward the banking system, and that whole industry. It also has a very, very low supply. So let's take a quick look at this supply. And I mean, I think it's kind of like Ethereum and different blockchains, you know, like Cosmos and stuff like that. I don't think that they're going to be competing. I think that they'll be complementary to each other with their niches. So market cap, 1,986,000,000, trading volume 52 million. Where is the total supply? Where'd you go? Total supply 14,612,493 tokens. So it's a really low total supply. And circulating supply is 12,975,667. So I could see Quant going really high, really quick. I mean, it already has. So I don't know. And then there's one last one I want to take a look at right now, or two. I need to take a look at Bancor and Alchemix. So BNT. Let's see, Bancor Network Token. They've been doing some stuff with Chainlink as well. 396. And Alchemix, and which is, I have a lot of stuff banked staked in Bancor right now because Bancor is single-sided liquidity, and that means you don't have to worry about impermanent loss if you keep it in there for 111 days. So impermanent loss is an issue for liquidity providers, and that means when one or the other token, well, you have to do 50-50 and put in matching token amounts and liquidity pools, and when one or the other token severely increases or decreases in value, it throws the other one off, and you could be subject to some impermanent loss. And it's only permanent if you pull your money out, but it's a pain in the butt and it can wreck you. Bancor solves this by single-sided liquidity and providing some kind of insurance type of token that will prevent impermanent loss from happening. I have a lot of stuff built in Bancor, and they have some liquidity initiatives going on right now with some really good APYs. And I've done very well on it so far. And then Alchemix is another one of my favorites. And let's see where Alchemix is at. 469.04. It's doing very well. And Alchemix is one of those where you lock it up and then you take a loan out and the loan repays itself, basically. So you don't have to do anything. And so you get all the money in advance. So all the APY in advance. So it's a really cool concept. What's up, Hadino3? Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about Immutable X, the first layer 2 for NFTs on Ethereum. Yesterday we talked a lot about Aavegotchi, and those are NFTs on Ethereum in a layer 2 using Polygon Matic. So I don't really understand how this is the first. Maybe this was around. Yeah, this was, I think, around before Aavegotchi, but I don't know. I don't want to split hairs here, and I'm not really sure about that. But either way, this is different because Aavegotchi uses Matic Polygon, which is basically a side chain, and side chains are different than rollups because side chains are a completely different side chain, and all the transactions are done on a side chain, and then they aren't ported over to Ethereum until it's time to pull out, or unless you're using Plasma, then it does these little root stamps. And there's a whole explanation right here, which I will link in the description. The sidechains in Plasma. So sidechain is an alternate blockchain to a parent chain. Plasma is a framework of child chains. It is a scaling solution for Ethereum, or any blockchain for that matter. The sidechain concept is to basically run another blockchain alongside some other main blockchain, and these two blockchains could then talk to each other in such a way that it allows assets to move between two chains. Just like side chains, plasma chains have a consensus mechanism that creates blocks. However, unlike sidechains, the root of each plasma chain block is published to Ethereum. Block roots are basically little pieces of information that users can use to prove things about the contents of those blocks. Okay, so there's this whole thing here, understanding sidechains and Plasma. I read this whole thing. It's a really good description of it, and sidechains and Plasma are very different, and so yeah, I would highly recommend reading through this. I would take you through it, but it would take quite a while. I will cover some of these basics here in a second, I believe. But basically, sidechains are not as secure as some other options, and or secure as Plasma. That has been the criticism of Matic and Polygon versus other options. And Immutable X is using rollups instead. And rollups are what Loopring has done, in which those are basically where you take transactions and you roll them up in a batch, and then you put them all at one point onto the main chain. So let's see here. Side chains are good for transactions, and standard rollups are good for just transactions. NFTs are different. Okay, so just transactions and stuff like that are good for NFT fungible tokens, and a fungible token is basically like a dollar bill. A $1 bill here is worth the same as another dollar bill there. They look exactly the same. They are exactly the same. An NFT is different in that, it's like a ticket. You have a ticket for this particular seat, and that's it. And you can't duplicate that seat anywhere. And but NFTs don't really work the same, so they don't function the same on these rollups and these side chains, and so it's a little harder to scale and deal with and to maintain the security. Well, what Immutable X is doing is they're creating a layer 2 solution for these NFTs, these unique cards, these unique tickets, and in order to be able to deal with the mechanics of it, to Because the problem with is I was looking at this game Gods Unchained, and let's see here. Let's register. Okay, let's just go to the home screen of Gods Unchained. This is an NFT game, and it's a trading card game that pays to play. Okay, and if you played Magic back in the day and stuff like that, you have the cards and you say, "Well, my sorcerer conquered your, paladin or whatever the hell." I don't know. And I'm not really into fantasy games, but. In Gods Unchained, each of these cards and all these attributes and stuff are NFTs. If you were to try to do this online on the blockchain, and the blockchain uses real money too, then if you try to do this on the base layer Ethereum, it's really slow and it's really costly, and that doesn't work. So you have to try to move this to layer 2. There's been a bunch of attempts to move this type of stuff to layer 2, and it's really awkward, and it's a tough process because a lot of these layer 2 solutions are made for ERC20 transactional currencies and fungible tokens, and not necessarily for ERC 721 non-fungible tokens, like these unique cards and these unique tickets and stuff like that. So that's why they've been trying to screw around and poke around and try to find some kind of layer 2 solution that will work, that would be faster and cheaper. And Matic is faster and cheaper, and but it's a side chain, so it's not really as secure. And so you're dealing with this trilemma of security here. So Immutable X is going in here, and they're working on creating these rollups, and not just rollups, standard rollups. They're using zk-SNARKS rollups in partnership with Starkware. And without getting totally into the nitty gritty, a snark is a type of zero proof privacy and security mechanism, and a stark is an extra step beyond that. And I can go totally into the weeds talking about Alibaba's cave and the way to do private transactions without either side knowing any information about the other side and stuff like that. But that's a huge rabbit hole right there in itself. So I won't do that. But just know that it is very secure. But with Rollups and STARKS, Immutable X, I think, has found a way to do these transactions for NFTs on layer 2 in a way that has not been able to be done before. So the future asset of trading is digital. We're ensuring NFTs are traded in an open, decentralized ecosystem secured by Ethereum. Zero gas fees for peer-to-peer trading. Set your own trading fees. No custodial risk. The users keep their private keys, so you don't have to have anybody take custody of your crypto or your NFTs. You keep it all on your wallet. Massive scalability, up to 9,000 transactions per second. Not a centralized sidechain. Supports ERC20 fungible and ERC 721 non-fungible tokens, and secured by Ethereum. A true layer 2, inheriting the security of L1. So the problem with sidechains is it's a side blockchain, but it's very vulnerable to attack. Ethereum is tried and true. It has all these, an amazing consensus mechanism. It's pretty much impermeable to 51% attacks. And the security is amazing. But whenever you're moving your money over to that side chain on Matic or whatever, Matic's pretty secure. I feel pretty safe taking stuff over to Matic. Not everything, but enough to play around with. And but the problem is side chains are smaller and they are vulnerable to attack. And I think Immutable X, with it being truly secured by layer 1 Ethereum, it's a more secure. And they go through the whole description of it here in their blog posts. Let's see here. It is right. Explainer on how our design architecture powers the future of NFTs. And I had a bunch of highlights in here that I was going to talk about, and then I refreshed the page and I lost all the highlights. So that sucks. But the TLDR is whenever you mint or trade an NFT on Immutable X, you pay zero gas, and the validity of all transactions are directly enforced by Ethereum security using zero-knowledge proofs. The first layer 2 for NFTs on Ethereum. We're allowing users to choose between two Validium and zk rollups via a system known as Volition. And we're starting by offering maximum scalability via Validium to allow applications to scale NFTs to the billions, all while remaining on Ethereum. So yeah, it's gonna scale it up pretty high. There's Validium and zk rollups. One allows tons of data but has some minor charges, and then the other one has zero charges but doesn't allow as much data, and it gives you the choice when you're in the marketplace of which one to use. So anyway, they had to figure out Immutable X which scaling engine that they wanted to go to, because I went back and I looked at the original article, November 16th, 2020, of the Gods Unchained review on Decrypt, and they're talking about the whole concept about how, you know, Gods Unchained is one of the most prominent crypto-infused games to date. This is the whole genesis of blockchain games kind of being put, or of blockchain games, and Gods Unchained is one of the originals. You know, CryptoKitties is another. But it says here, Gods Unchained is one of the most prominent crypto-infused games to date, delivering an online collectible card game experience in which you verifiably own the cards, which are tokenized digital assets on the Ethereum blockchain. That means you can buy and sell the cards, which range in rarity just like physical card games. So you own that card as an NFT. But the problem is back then in 2020, you know, we dealt with the scalability and the speed issues and stuff like that. And way back in May 2020, it says Gods Unchained plans to go mainstream without crashing Ethereum. So the point is Gods Unchained wasn't an amazing game back then, but it was running on Ethereum, and it was one of the first really to do so very effectively. And so it has its criticisms, you know. Gods Unchained may not be one of the most original digital strategy card games out there, but the addition of crypto economics adds a potentially compelling twist to what is already a really engaging and solidly polished to free-to-play experience. In time, I hope to see an improved onboarding and tutorial process to help newcomers understand the full extent of that experience without having to read external FAQs and blog posts. Additionally, high Ethereum gas fees have the potential to bounce players off the game right at the moment when they're willing to invest real money and become more engaged. But luckily, that is an issue that Immutable has acknowledged and is working to address. Even so, the core game is already strong in its current state, and there's a lot of potential for Immutable to further develop Gods Unchained into a major player in the digital card game space. And we can see that they have indeed put in the homework, and they've come out with Immutable X using the zk-SNARKS rollups to solve these issues that were happening with the scalability. So they chose, and then they poked around with all these different layer 2 solutions. They poked around with side chains. You know, they poked around with state channels, and you know, they've tried a lot of different ones. And oh, my highlights are there. And they have come down to the conclusion that the zk based solutions are the best ones. So they say optimistic rollups are a great fit for applications which primarily deal with fungible assets, ERC20, in which rely on composability. However, for NFTs, they have some significant limitations. First, they require a 1 to 2 week withdrawal period. While it is possible to improve on this for fungible assets using fast withdrawals, it is impossible to provide liquidity for fast withdrawals of unique assets, NFTs. They also require substantial reasoning about the incentivization of fraud reporting, and their fraud-proof model has some significant disadvantages. So basically, here's their volition right here. Validity proofs, they have the zk rollup or Validium. And then fault proofs, there are two different ways of checking for counterfeits and corruption and scams and stuff like that. And then fault proofs is optimistic rollups and plasma. All right, so all this is included in a volition. So we narrowed our focus to ZK-based solutions. Due to their use of validity-proof zk rollups support instant withdrawals. In the words of Vitalik, in the medium to long term, zk rollups will win out in all use cases. So he is a firm believer in zk rollups. That's where Vitalik wants to go, and not necessarily side chains, as in Matic and Polygon. And Vitalik, if you don't know, he's the inventor of Ethereum. So he's a pretty smart dude. So anyway, they say we have chosen Stark proofs rather than SNARKS or other systems, as STARKS can be set up without a secret ceremony, are post-quantum secure. So I guess it's impervious to quantum attacks, and then rely on simpler cryptography compared to other proof systems, which mean they are substantially less likely to be attacked. Now, what is a secret ceremony? And I took a quick look at that, and that goes way back to Zcash, whenever they were trying to figure out how to do zero-knowledge proofs that rely on public parameters which allow users to construct and verify private transactions. So it's for privacy and cryptographic security. Due to cryptographic limitations, these parameters must be generated in a setup phase. So when they're setting up these proofs, they need to generate some random numbers in order to create the framework. And all these random numbers, in order to create them, they have to be thrown away. Otherwise, it can be reverse engineered. So that's called toxic waste. And then if any type of hacker were to come in and reconstruct that toxic waste, then they could figure out how to counterfeit that secure cryptographic method, and in this case, Zcash. So they did an entire ceremony where they, all did wireless connections, but found ways to destroy all their hardware in order to destroy all the toxic waste, to make sure there was absolutely zero way to go back and get in and reconstruct those cryptographic proofs and methods in order to try to create counterfeits. So anyway, I thought this first dress rehearsal, second dress rehearsal, third dress rehearsal, then they had the whole ceremony. Anyway, that's a whole side thing. I just thought it was interesting, like the whole use of secret ceremony. Anyway, so the STARKS can be set up without a secret ceremony, unlike SNARKS, and are post-quantum secure and rely on simpler cryptography compared to other proof systems. So that's why they chose the STARKS. I saw Starkware in a presentation at SmartCon, because Starkware is also working with Chainlink. And so Starkware is well beyond just Immutable X. Starkware is working with a lot of projects right now, including Starkware oracles and Chainlink and stuff like that. There is so much going on with Starkware. It is definitely a company to follow right now. So anyway, the downside of ZK Rollups is that it introduces a linear cost to vault updates between batches. Though this cost is small, around 1,000 gas per vault update compared to the 100,000 gas for a layer 1 trade. So if you're trying to do a layer 1 NFT trade on Ethereum, it's going to cost you 100,000 gas. If you do it on ZK Rollups, it's 1,000 gas. But even with this 100x reduction in gas costs, ZK Rollups is still limiting at 1,000 gas per vault update, minting 7 million NFTs, e.g. the Gods Unchained Genesis season. Right here, all these cards, you can get the packs of cards, and that's a lot of NFTs once you start messing around with all of it. So at 1,000 gas per vault update, minting 7 million NFTs, the Gods Unchained Genesis season would cost around 7 billion gas, about 200 Gwei. That's an expenditure of 1,400 ETH. And with ETH being at roughly $3,000 right now, let's just say 3,000 just for the sake of argument. So let's say here 3,000 times 1,400. I mean, that's $4,200,000. This was 2.5 at that time of writing, or around 30 cents per asset per card. When you have a lot of cards, that adds up. A lot of people who play games don't want to pay a bunch of money to play games. I don't, So this is an interesting solution here. So our analysis showed this cost to be unsustainable for developers, including major game studios who have a bunch of money, and VCs who are considering minting Ethereum NFTs. If Fortnite goes to Ethereum, imagine Fortnite. Fortnite is huge. I don't even know much about Fortnite, but I know Fortnite because, even though I'm severely detached from it. They're minting billions of NFTs a year, and we must enable that future cost effectively while never compromising on fundamental security. We considered charging on a permit basis, but soon realized that would be antithetical to our overall goal, allowing developers to ignore minting costs and focus on designing the best applications possible. So you want the developers to focus on design and on function of the game, not necessarily on dealing with all these cost savings. Thankfully, we're working with Starkware to allow users to have the highest possible data availability when required, as well as full mainstream scalability through a system called Volition. And this allows users to switch as to whether they want to use Validium ZK Proof or ZK Rollup solution. To ensure that we can guarantee data availability, we use a data availability committee, a number of significant entities in the industry who sign each batch to indicate their possession of the data from this root update. Anyway, so this is very different from validators or block producers in a side chain like Matic and Polygon. Data will continue to be available as long as any of the data community remains honest, no consensus algorithms required. Further, as privacy is not required in our system, we will be publishing this data on IPFS at regular intervals. IPFS is basically decentralized internet with no servers. So here's the Volition model. Validium ZK proofs alone aren't our long-term goal for Immutable X. Immutable X is launching with vault space preserved for our expansion to Volition. Under a Volition model, users will be able to choose whether particular assets are held as Validium ZK proof or ZK rollup. We might see a high-frequency NFT trading firm use Validium ZK proofs for scalable transactions throughout the day, and then opt back into a ZK rollup vault. So during the day, while the waiter's sitting there going around with the customers through lunch and dinner, they'll be using Validium ZK proofs for the scalable transactions. And then at night, use the ZK rollup to go to the bank and take the zip pouch. So major game publishers and massive scale applications will almost certainly be minting NFTs via Validium ZK proofs to achieve global scale. Either way, the important message is your assets are always secured directly by Ethereum Layer 1's security as a Layer 2 solution, and we support your choice. Transparency and optionality are core components of decentralization. So anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. This seems like a whole highly secure way of doing things, and this Immutable X token right now, they're basically in the middle of a bunch of airdrops. So if you love airdrops, the IMX token is making a debut. It might be something interesting to look in from an investor's standpoint, and with all these NFTs blowing up and everybody scrambling to search around for the best, most scalable way to do it. As you know, if you've been following Stoner Cats had an issue where when it came out and was released, they had a huge traffic congestion buildup, and there was $780,000 lost worth of failed transactions, and they feel terrible, quote unquote, about it all, and they probably genuinely do. I believe them. I was listening to them on a podcast, but there's nothing they can do about it because that's part of the Layer 1 system of doing things. If they had that on Layer 2, they wouldn't have had a problem. But the problem is most people, the average Joe, doesn't know how to get started with Layer 2. So there's a disconnect, and we have to help educate people on how to get to Layer 2 to do these seamless transactions. And I think Immutable X is creating this educational, easy access process. So I think that IMX will be a good investment, and I'm going to be looking into this. And don't mark my words on this yet, but yeah, they're trying to make Layer 2 accessible to NFT people, to gamers, and to people that don't necessarily understand crypto. So if you made it through my whole explanation of the ZK rollups and everything that IMX is doing with it, congratulations to you. I know that was a tough one for me reading through some of that stuff, and forgive me. But either way, I'm way over time today. 38 minutes. I rambled at the beginning for quite a while, probably about 8 minutes worth. So I'm probably about at 30 minutes of actual real explanation. And there's some more stuff I wanted to go on to, and I can't. I wanted to actually go into the Starkware Medium and the Starkware website, but I might have to save that for another day. But yeah, Starkware is definitely something worth looking into if you're onto the technology and the infrastructure side of things, and love reading about the plumbing and the concepts and stuff like that. Starkware is going to be a good one to follow because they have a lot of stuff coming out now. So yeah, if some people love the infrastructure and the plumbing of it, other people love the fun little NFT gaming side of things, and other people like the banking tokens. There's all these different ways of entering into the crypto space based upon your interests. So that being said, I'm gonna get on with my Sunday. Do the deal. I appreciate you guys jumping on. I hope I didn't get you too deep in the woods, and I hope you kind of understood the way I was trying to explain this stuff. I know this stuff can be really difficult to wrap your head around sometimes. It is for me too, and I'm trying to explain it at the same time. And sometimes whenever it's coming out of my mouth, it's not what I pictured in my head. And that's why I do this every day, because it's practice. It's practice at explaining concepts. And the longer I do it and the more I do it, the better I'll get at it. And it's a work in progress. So, excuse my mess ups. And So, you guys have a good day. And tomorrow's a Monday. Time to get back to work. Time to hit the grind. I hope by next April to be able to quit my main job and move fully into the blockchain space. And that's a goal for me. So we'll see. And we'll see what happens. If not, whatever. Patience is key. So, all right. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.